Coming from a teacher perspective, vaping has become such an epidemic, especially for our young people, and it's hard to see all of that great work that has been done over the years to stop smoking and stop tobacco use, and to see that completely turn course is alarming. I really feel that more information needs to be gotten to students and help them understand what's happening at all of the levels, at the peer pressure level, at the marketing level. This is information that students and middle school students absolutely need, because they do have such a hard time making decisions. And if they had the information, they could make better decisions. So they need all of the pieces to understand the risk factors. And the more facts we can get out there, hopefully the faster we can stop the potential epidemic of people that are vaping and really hurting themselves. One of the ways that we present the information to the different age groups when we're utilizing the 1UP for vaping is to consider what the national standards are. And for those younger grades, a lot of the national standards are focused on the basics of anatomy and understanding the risk factors and maybe diseases associated. And then as we go up the grades, we have more of the decision making. Students have stepped out of the egocentrism and they're looking more towards information with where students are going to make decisions and how it affects other people. So for the purpose of 1UP for vaping, we can go all the way from as low as maybe 4th grade all the way up through 8th, possibly even 9th grade, because it's matching all of those national standards. Something I like about 1UP for vaping is the fact that it can be taught in multiple ways. So one of the ways it can be taught is individual devices, and the students can individually work on one device by themselves and go through the game. You'll see that there are multiple different paths. They can choose different answers along the way through the game, so it gives them a lot of autonomy and they can choose the way they want to go. Another way that the information can be presented is you can use the chapter narratives and teach it as the teacher reading the main character, and move throughout the story by asking the students which piece or answer they would like to use. And it helps to build relationships because the students are actually contributing to the play and the journey when we're going through the chapter narratives. The information really resonates with the students because of the way it's presented. Many of the students learn in multiple ways. They have learning through either seeing it or learning through hearing it. And then there's also the possibility that a student learns by doing it. And with 1UP for vaping, we have students that are actually saying the lines and the pertinent information. So they're doing it, they're actually acting it out. We also have where students are seeing it on the screen, so they're visually reading the information. And the third way is by hearing it. Another point to that is that students remember things when you give them a story or something that they can grab onto. And with 1UP for vaping, I've noticed over the last 8 months or so working with this product that students are remembering because there are plot lines and story points and characters that they're drawn to. And even 8 months later, my students are remembering what they've learned because we can talk about something they saw in the game or something that we talked about because we've talked about it in multiple chapters. It's nice to have information that's up to date, accurate, and also information that is going to help the students understand what's happening in the real world. The information on vaping is difficult to find. It takes a lot of time and research to find articles and movies, and then teachers have to create their own lesson plans and really spend a lot of time, whereas with this product, 1UpOnVaping, you can actually just use this product right out of the box and start teaching students right away. And it's exactly what the students need to learn, and it drives the points home really easily. I think what surprises me most about student reactions is what they pick up from the information. I'm always astounded by what causes the light bulb moment. In each of the classes where I've presented this, and I've presented it from as low as 4th grade all the way up through 8th and 9th, I've noticed that each grade will pull something different from the information. And when they find something that's interesting, their eyes light up. And there's that lean in moment. And normally I have full silence in the room. That is when I know that the students are really into the information, and I've got their attention. One tip I would have when you're presenting the material is don't be afraid to actually use different devices and have them all try it for themselves. If you have the availability and device, give it a shot and let the students try it on their own. If you show it to the whole class, is to make sure to call on students to pick which answer when there's the multiple answers. That keeps you from having issues with all the students wanting one or the other or whatever. You just choose a student. I like to give a baseline knowledge for at least what some of the terms mean. So maybe just briefly explaining what is nicotine, what is tobacco, what is cigarette, what is vaping versus e-cigarette, things like that. Maybe just breaking down the vocabulary first so that students have that background knowledge. And a final tip I might have for when you're utilizing the chapters is to make sure you have enough time. If you have shorter classes, you might want to just maybe play it yourself once and see how long it takes to go through it and see if it fits for your classes, because it might take a little bit longer or shorter than what you have if a student finishes quickly when you're using the individual devices.